all must have heard I'm a real nerd. People say I'm a fool, but they never got the news that I'm a wild one. Oh yeah, I'm a wild one. You better turn it up, better keep the channel dialed, 'cause you're watching Wild Mike and his real wild child. Oh yeah, I'm a wild one. You better turn it up, better keep the channel dialed, 'cause you're watching Wild Mike and his real wild child.
Jafar, buy an SD game swap. Creed.
There we go.
Hi, Bob.
Yep. So I'm actually recording, or I'm not recording, I'm streaming from the Walmart so I can go straight to work afterwards because I got 10 hours to work today.
You've got to say howdy. You've got to say howdy, folks.
Yeah, howdy, folks. I'm not looking forward to working today.
Tomorrow's a holiday.
Is it?
It's not. Well, it'll be a holiday after I get off work.
Oh, that's right. Tomorrow's St. Paddy's Day, so
I bought a couple of these. I don't know if you guys ever tried it. This is their Irish cream coffee flavor for Monster. And apparently it mixes really well with Guinness. So I'm going to pour myself a half a pint of Guinness, pour one of those in, and I'm going to enjoy that as an after work St. Paddy's Day treat.
I don't think I'm going to do any excessive drinking. I've had a few since. I indulged a little bit since
an hour ago.
No, my father, since Tuesday after my father died.
Oh, I didn't know he'd died. I'm sorry, man. I know what that's like. Trust me.
Yeah.
Well, you know, if you ever get back on X and check the DMs in the group chat, but you're over on Blue Sky.
Well, I
comes back over once in a while.
Okay, we have one issue with that. I didn't realize this when I was checking my X stuff. X has gotten rid of the SD game swap information. When I tried to log in through SD games, at SD game swap, they said that user no longer exists. Now I deleted the app. I did not delete the profile. So, and when I signed up. So I signed up under a new thing. Like now it's just at Vile Mike. Sorry, hold on. It's at Vile _ Mike. And I looked up SD Game Swap. All my stuff is still there. But when I try to log in, it says that user doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, I'm pulling you up right here. SD Game Swap is still on X. I'm like, I see all your posts and shit. The last time you actually posted on here was February 13th.
Game swap.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know what's wrong with Twitter.
Dude, it's right here.
Yeah, I know. And I'm saying when I try to log in, it tells me that user doesn't exist anymore, or that account doesn't exist anymore.
Dude, I can see your post from February.
So could I.
About an SD swamp discount.
I went ahead and, as I said, I have a backup account on Twitter, and I use that. I can see my stuff, but when I try to log in under that account name, it won't let me do it anymore.
Have you tried forgetting your password and resetting it?
It doesn't give me that option. It says that user doesn't exist anymore. Or that account doesn't exist anymore.
So what are you under now?
I'm using I had the backup one. It's just at Vile _ Mike. I think like Dandelion and maybe Mrs. Vile are the only people that follow me. I don't know.
Oh, no wonder you didn't respond to that message I sent you on SD Game Swap. The other day, Jackbox had a little deal. I know you got the Jack app. I said, open your Jackbox. 8 piece nuggets for $1. I'm like, dude, open your Jack app. It was a nice snack for you. I thought you might have liked that.
Okay, Elihu, here's what's funny. I actually got the notification that you sent that to me, sent to my email, but when I clicked the thing saying that you sent me a message, it brought me straight back to that thing saying, this account no longer exists.
This
Holy
can't
shit.
be. This can't be your.
Oh, man. I'm
No,
like, hey, Mike liked the snack idea.
No, I typed in Vile Mike, not Vile Millie. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's because it's, as I said, I think I got like 2 people following me, and I don't even know if I'm following anyone yet. It was just a backup account in case I got shadow banned or something from Twitter.
Oh, here we go.
Some of my posts are getting shadow posted.
Okay, got you. March 5th. I'll have to add you back in to.
And there goes there's a connection, dude. You just froze for a second. Oh, okay.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I got a lot going on.
Hey, Dandelion.
So, yeah, my dad died Tuesday, 2:55 in the morning. I got the call around 3:30.
Yeah.
There isn't a damn thing I can do now until the cremation and the death certificate, which my dad's entire legacy is sitting on my floor right now. Literally. That's
rough.
Just documents his birth certificate, some other forms. At least I know what bank he banked with. So, and his death certificate will have his Social Security. So of course, I got to call the Social Security department, tell them that. I got to call the bank, get his account canceled, whatever money's in there transferred. I mean, fuck, man. At least the hooker stops screwing you after you're dead.
Well, too bad you don't make over, or your dad didn't make over $13 million a year. Because with the estate tax stuff that they implemented back in January, you could have left you up to a $13 million with tax free from the estate tax now.
What state was that?
That was one of the executive orders Trump signed.
Another benefit for the rich.
Hey, what can I say? I didn't read all 200 plus. I mean, I'm sorry, but as much as I dive into politics, and I love politics.
Yeah, but as I said, it only
takes the backseat.
NB, it only kicks in after $13 million. Why 13 million and not a smaller number? I don't know, but
it's interesting. My wife. Okay, so here's an interesting story. My wife's dad fell while cutting a tree down. Or he was taking care of something and he fell off the ladder. And her mom was trying to get just food stamps. You know why they didn't get the food stamps? No.
Made too much income?
Yeah. Do you want to know why? They made $8 over the limit because they counted my wife's income at 16 years old when she was over at a dance school and only made $8 a night.
Oh God.
No, I'm not shitting you. She's told me
No,
that
it-
story many times.
No, my
It was food stamps, for God's sakes.
no, a certain person. I'm not going to go into too much detail right now. But they had the option of going to court to having their child support reduced because the dad isn't there at all, but they receive like $150 a month in child support. But the child support they received meant that they made too much money now to get food stamps. And their food stamps allotment for the month was $400.
Dude, these cuts and shit are really messing with people because,
So,
especially with food. Hang on, especially with food stamps right now because a lot of people got their benefits cut. A couple thousand people got an extra $20 to $60 cash benefit on their card, which is not active, available on your card, but it says it's available in your account, but it's not active on your account. Then 24 hours later, that money got taken away. Then $20 got divided back in with no access to that $20, but it's still on your account. Then that $20 got taken back away. I'm like, what the hell is going on with this EBT cash adjustments shit? You get money, you don't get your money. You get money, you don't have access to your money. You get money, you don't get money anymore. I qualify for a $20 cash benefit every single fucking month. I don't get
I
it.
don't understand. I thought that with Elihu, you need to refresh your avatar.
I already told him.
I thought you got state. There you go. I thought you got state benefits.
I get SSI, SDI, SSI supplement plus EBT.
Now EBT, that's the food stamp, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you get EBT with SSI, you can qualify for $20 to $60 cash supplements to supplement your income, like for extra medication, sandwich bags, that sort of stuff, right? Little deodorant, toothpaste, essentials. I qualify
Is
for that.
that why you're allowed to take cash out on it?
Yes, I'm allowed
Okay.
that $20. It got deposited into my account, which I have no access to. It says it's there, but it's not physically available for me to withdraw.
Huh.
Yeah, basically a lot of people have lost their food stamps, including some people I know.
In the state of
And,
California?
well, remember, food stamps is a federal program. It's
Federal.
not a state program.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Now, their medical is still through the state, and they haven't lost that. But
Oh no, Gavin's assuring that. I'm thanking him for that.
Oh,
don't get me wrong, Gavin Newsom.
Is it just me or okay? Give me your opinion on Gavin Newsom because I'm noticing he's kind of flip flopping.
He has
Okay,
always
Gavin
been
Newsom. Hold on, let me do. It's my show. I'm going to do my opinion first. Gavin Newsom was basically a moderate band-aid to kind of cover some asses. He is Democrat, but he has a lot of support from certain groups of Republicans, which is why he went for it at the time. And he was kind of like the lesser of two evils in California.
What was the other choice?
Can I speak on it? Because I've actually had personal experience with him.
Yeah, we know
Sorry,
you
what?
had personal experience with it. I'm just curious. Who was the other? Who was the other side? I like I said, I haven't been in California in a long time.
I'll be honest with you, I don't even remember at this point because I didn't. I just, so, my mind was just a blank thing. I didn't really. I'm an independent, so I did vote for him, but I don't even remember who was going against. I just didn't.
I remember.
But I will say, what's her name? Porter, Kelly. I think Kelly Porter or something like that. She said that she's going to go for California governor, and I really like her.
So was Lee. So was Harrison. and Angelino, the guy from the old mayor from LA.
Katie Porter. That's who I'm talking about, and I like her.
Vigoroso, whatever his name was.
So as of right now, she's going to get my vote if she gets to the nomination from the party.
So
Well,
the
when
primary,
Gavin Newsom,
when do you have your primary?
Again, I don't know. I'm registered as an independent. They'll let me know.
Okay.
Because in the state of California, I can vote for any primary as an independent, whether it's Democratic, Republican, Green Party. I can Libertarian. I can vote for all of them.
Well, you can do that on a general ballot, but in a caucus you can't. But
Well, in the state of California, they're all open for independent.
Well, yeah, as far as I know, you guys don't have caucuses. You have primaries.
you know, LDG, I can zoom in on my screen and see what you're looking at, Cameron Academy. Best two scholarship.
He's probably smoking. No, he's working.
I can zoom in on my screen.
So I do want to talk a little pop culture, guys. Cobra Kai, the last season, awesome, into an awesome show.
I still haven't seen it. I got hooked on watching the 3 Body Problem, which is why it's in the title.
I'm waiting for the next season.
The 3, you're gonna have to tell me about that.
You are bugs.
Okay,
you are bugs. You are bugs. You are bugs. You are bugs.
That's literally, Elihu, that was the last episode I watched. I still got 3 episodes left. Basically, it's about.
I don't like bugs.
No.
Basically, it's about a potential alien invasion where this is like, think of Battlestar Galactica, where they got a fleet that's approaching Earth, and it's the last remnants of their civilization. But because the solar system they came from is one that suffered from the 3 Body Problem, which I'll explain later. And their whole goal was originally to come there just to survive. And they were working with a certain group of humanity to slow humanity's progress down, because since they're stuck on this fleet, they're not going to innovate as much. So by the time it takes them to actually get to Earth, because they're only traveling at 1% the speed of light, and it's going to take them over 400 years to get to Earth at that point, that if humanity continues to progress at the level that they're progressing at, humanity will be, more technologically advanced than them by the time they get there.
And what is this on?
Netflix. It's based on a Chinese book that was adapted a few years ago.
Okay.
Lucian.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on a second. Let me get to Netflix. Give me a minute. This sounds like something I need to save.
And everyone say hi to Mrs. Vile. She's in the chat.
Hola, Mrs. Cardenas.
Hola, Mrs. Cardenas.
All right, what's the name of this show?
3 Body Problem.
Body Problem.
3.
Classic physics.
Oh. Boy, that came quick. Part 1, 3 Body Problem. Part 1 countdown. Yeah, and my list. I'll take a look at it.
I'm actually really enjoying it. The reason I started watching it was just because I saw a YouTube short that featured a clip, and I'm like, they were specifically talking about the 3-body problem. Like, well, the only solution you need for this 3-body problem is to know where everything was at the start of the problem. Once you know the starting locations, it's no longer a problem. And they go into that. They're basically saying, "Oh, we don't know the starting locations, so that's why we can't figure anything out."
Always finding finding patient zeros can always be easy. Now, Warrior, that was great. That was Chinese American done, and it was just 3 awesome seasons.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, you should. It was 3 awesome seasons. I mean, it ended exactly how it needed to, which I thought was good. I thought Cobra Kai ended way better. I was expecting a different ending. It didn't happen, and the show was way better for it.
What, do you expect Russo to be a total 180 and be a gentle, kind of person? No, Danny Russo's the fucking asshole. Come on, he's the prick. He's the bully.
It's how the tournament went.
Oh.
Well, don't tell me because I still haven't seen it. But I will tell you something I watched yesterday because on my way, I was in Mexico yesterday, and I had to cross the border because I had to work today, and I didn't want to try to cross in the morning and show up late to the store when I'm going to be working 10 hours.
Hey, Elihu, what'd you think of Kreese's redemption?
In what?
You didn't watch the last season?
Oh, sorry. What? What show are you talking about?
Cobra Kai. He's talking about Cobra Kai still. I was on a different. I was talking about something else.
Sorry.
I know
sorry.
what he's doing.
No, I have not seen Cobra Kai.
Oh, you guys.
The last thing I watched was Wheel of Time.
I never saw Wheel of Time. I never even read the books.
Oh, well, what I was going back to was I downloaded a couple of movies to watch while I was waiting in line. And because the place I'm downloading from has just random movies that happens to be copyright free in that country, I downloaded the old 80s cartoon movie Brave Star, The Legend, and True Lies.
Brave Star. I actually have that. I have that as a...
Okay, I haven't watched Brave Star since I was a kid, so that we're talking at least 35 years since I've watched it.
I was at the comic store, or my geek store, as I like to call it, and it was during their having everybody come out, and I saw Brave Star, and I was like, yeah, I'm taking this.
Okay, but
I mean,
I did not realize
gun is a toy, for God's sakes.
You know,
I didn't have any of the toys, but what I wanted to get onto is I couldn't believe how racist that show originally was. I was like, I'm watching it now, and I'm like, oh, the little guys were based on Chinese people. Oh no.
Oh, for fuck's sakes, you read too much into it.
No, dude, look at them. They are all that Chinese stereotypical buck-tooth, slanted-eyed, and I'm like, oh no, this is like George Lucas level bad sometimes.
No, it's like Fritz the Cat, the Cops, and the pigs and the crows.
Oh, for God's sakes, guys, you're reading too much into it.
Oh, no, I give it a pass because it was made in the 80s. But there is no way that would be adapted that same way today if it was, turned into live action or something.
It would not be, because everybody's too fucking sensitive.
Well, you kind of, there's sensitive, and then there's like, wow, this is Mickey Rooney in Breakfast at Tiffany's level bad.
Oh.
Okay, that's overkill. Breakfast at Tiffany's was awesome.
It was even Mickey Rooney's like, yeah, that was a little racist on my part. They should have cast somebody else.
Well, blame Hollywood for that.
Well, you guys got to remember when
Brave Star wasn't a Hollywood.
hang on.
Hold on. Brave Star wasn't a Hollywood production. It was a Canadian production. Ironically,
When guys, when Leonardo was filming Django Unchained and Samuel Jackson was in there, Leo said, "I have a hard time saying these words." You know what Samuel said? Just say the fucking words. They're just fucking words, man.
No, I remember it was
okay. Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna
I
say the fucking words.
I remember the way they quoted it was he had a hard time saying the words. He goes, "Motherfucker, this is a Tuesday night for us." Now that I can believe Sammy would say. I mean, anyway, here we go.
Too much glare.
is that the legend?
Oh, there it is.
No,
I see Brave Star.
Series.
Okay, this was just the first. This is just the movie, the prequel movie.
New Texas.
Yeah, New
But
Texas.
oh man,
Texas.
Texas.
oh, and speaking of
I know
Texas,
who you're talking about. You're talking about that little motherfucker who smoked the cigars.
no, I'm talking about the good one, the one that the Brave Star named as his deputy. He was one of the little mole people type things that dug in the ground, but every one of the ones that they drew were just like the most racist caricatures. And I'm like, oh damn. No wonder this show didn't.
Remember, those shows used to have a message, and that show actually had one of the most powerful messages in Brave Star, because the guy there was that child who overdosed. We had never seen
the messaging is great.
Let me finish.
Okay, go ahead.
It was the first time we had ever, got the first idea of somebody overdosing on a drug. And you saw what he was doing. He was getting one for free, and then he had to get Carium. I still remember what that was called. And, they were going to call Doc Whelan, and it was too late for him. And, it was all about drug addiction. It was a powerful episode.
Well, what I was going to say is the messaging in the the movie is a good message when they're like, okay, it doesn't matter what we look like. We all got to, get past our prejudices and work together to beat the bad guys. That was fine. So I didn't have any issues with that, but like small things, like when the Native American guy's spaceship crashes, the way it lands, it forms a totem pole.
Man, what do you expect?
But it was just like, wow, really? The whole everything.
Come on. I mean, is that really that bad?
Well, if you go to,
if you're gonna look at
hold on. No. What I mean is, there is a stereotype with certain Native American tropes in modern fiction where they treat Native Americans from the United States and Canada as a singular type of tribe. And a lot of the descriptors they use for the main character and the shaman character are Plains Indians and Navajo Indian.
Yeah.
But the Native Americans that made totem poles are from, the American Northwest, not the American Southwest and Plains.
Yeah, you got the Chena dolls on Southwest.
Hey, I'm
Hopi.
going to be the first to admit, I don't know the difference between the 300 tribes that were in America at the time.
Well,
I really don't. I don't know how each tribe lived.
Pima, Navajo, Apache.
But
that was Arizona.
It would be like saying that making a European homogenized group where the people talk in an Irish accent, wear kilts, and lederhosen.
Well, actually, there was a funny thing
working behind a hibachi.
Actually, there was a funny thing in Warrior that I think you would like. It's about it really comes down to the Chinese mafia, the Tongs, and the politics and the Irish. And, Irish were tough motherfuckers back in the day. And this guy, he was like, he is just the badass. And, the main character, he even has a hard time beating him. Even with his martial arts skills, he's having a hard time. He has a hard time with this guy because he's just brutal. Yeah, a guy who can take a punch, a kick, pretty good. A tough old street fight motherfucker. And it's just a good show. Just was a good show. I enjoyed all 3 seasons.
What the fuck? Sorry, I was looking at something on the news that just reported. The food bank's getting cut by Doge.
What's getting cut by Doge?
Food banks. Funding for food banks.
What's a blue bank?
Food
bank.
Oh, what's a food bank?
It's a place where people donate food to give to people that don't have enough money to buy their own food. A lot of churches have them, including the Salvation Army.
Yeah, I know that. So what's the deal? I used to use those. Hell, I had to back when I was a kid. I mean, I was only making $4.50 an hour.
Think of it as this way, MB. Think of it this way. If you go in and you get a block of cheese, you're no longer going to get that block of cheese. Food's getting cut. Funds getting cut.
Well, again, what they're saying is that the federal funding for those food banks is going to be cut. Now, spread across the entire country, the average food bank only receives a couple of $1,000s from the federal government. Most of it is from the local areas. Like when I was a kid, the city of Santee runs a food bank that is run by one of the local churches. Now, the city government helps fund it, but they only received a very small amount from the federal government or even from the state government.
Now, for me, when I was growing up, we made too much money for food stamps. My girlfriend and I did at the time. And Yeah, on $4.50 an hour. I was barely getting 30 hours a week. I was so pissed. And she got her hours cut. I got my hours cut. And fuck, man, we had to schedule each week when we'd go up to one of the food banks at the fucking churches. I mean, because
Yeah,
you can
but
only go there. Well, you can only go
yeah,
there once or so many. You can only go there so many times in a month. So we had to map everything out, and we did. And yeah, it was
yeah.
all.
Usually most food banks only allow you to go once a week, and you only get so many pounds of food. It's not even when
Once a week?
when we
It
were
was
donating
once
to
a
it. It was
month for us.
yeah,
It was
but
once
Yeah,
a
it's once a
month.
week.
states
That's
that
why
don't
we
have,
spaced them out. That's why we had to space them out.
but yeah, but the areas that this is going to hurt is the people that don't have a strong city government or state government that's able to help pick up the slack from the couple of $1,000s they'll lose from the federal government. So areas like Mississippi, Alabama, those ones are going to be hit hardest by any loss of money going to food banks.
Any rural place.
California, not so much, because I know California will step up.
Unless you're
Yeah,
Central
I
Valley.
figured you're. Yeah, Elihu, I figured the city will step up for you in the state, obviously. Seems like kind of thing that could benefit from increase. Well, if it wasn't for all the fuck ups we've been doing and kicking cans down the road for the last 50 years, we wouldn't be in this pain.
Yeah, but it's like burning down the house to get rid of the termites.
Or taking a shotgun to get that fly.
Yes, I know. Confucius said, "Don't use cannon to kill mosquito."
Yeah. You're going to use a shotgun to shoot that fly.
With rock salt, you might.
Dude.
All I'm saying is, we didn't have to go through that. This pain didn't have to happen if we hadn't been kicking this can down the road. Well, not us, because we're not the legislators.
Well, what I mean is, to continue my metaphor for the termites, we've been needing to put a tent over the house for a long period of time, but we kept just using traps and an exterminator coming out once a year to spray it down. But what we really needed is a tent. Instead of putting the tent up right now, we're just setting fire to the house.
I would agree with that. We could have used the tent a long time ago, and I know the metaphor you're using because I've seen people get their houses tented to get rid of that. Fleas, bed bugs, all that shit. I've seen houses like that. Unfortunately, though, sometimes you've got to, as it was said in the song, sometimes you got to burn it down to build it back up again. I've seen a lot of houses.
Yeah,
No,
the problem.
Hold on, Mike. Let me finish real quick. Just let me finish. I've seen, modern day houses where it's like you have to tear the whole thing down to even have a chance at rebuilding. And it's painful and it sucks. And guys, it's not our fault. It's the pain we're going to have to deal with because, well, it's got to be done at some point. Otherwise, we're going to be extremely fucked. worse than we are now. And I mean that seriously. Trump's only going to be there 4 years. And right now, yeah, I understand it's a scary time for a lot of people. I totally get that. And I respect that. And I respect why you've been unhappy, Mike, and afraid. And I've tried to be as respectful as I can about that. I hope you know that. It's just unfortunately we're going to have to deal with pain. And the worst part is, instead of trying to go along with it, the Democrats have no leader. They have no platform. And I don't like that.
I don't know. When I see, the town halls lately that Governor Waltz has been doing, I have nothing but respect for the man when he does that stuff.
And I have more respect for when Republicans boo and hiss a Democrat for saying something. I'm like, okay, this person's getting messages across and pissing off Republicans. I have respect for that person,
Right.
for the Democrat who does that.
Danny
You're
Line,
getting
can you throw
attention.
something?
You're pissing people off.
Hold on. Danny Line, can you throw something in the private chat so I know it's you?
It is me.
Look,
Yeah,
my
Danny Line.
thing is,
Sorry, too late. I was just about to start typing. Hey, quick question for you, MB.
yeah,
All these cuts, what are they doing with the cuts? What's the purpose of those cuts?
basically fraud, waste, and abuse.
Okay, no. That's what I mean. When they've saved this money, like when they've made these cuts, they've saved this money. What's the end goal of that?
Well, the end goal, I believe, is to find where we are wasting money.
No. After they've done that, they've found where the money's wasted, all that stuff. After the cuts have all been made and the money is saved, what are they doing next? Are they reducing the deficit with the savings?
Hopefully so.
Nope.
Are they distributing back to different programs?
Just give me 2 seconds, Elihu.
Oh, sorry.
They are just going to give themselves tax cuts for rich people. That's the whole purpose of this. The reason they're making all these poor people suffer is so that they can have tax cuts. Do you think Elon Musk needs a tax cut? Jeff Bezos needs a tax cut? Any of those billionaires needs a tax cut?
I find the fact that Elon Musk is doing this and he's not getting paid, and my president isn't.
He gets $800 million a day in all his government contracts.
I don't give a damn how
and every
much
single
money.
one of his little minions is getting paid at the highest.
What are minions? What is the minion?
Dojis, his little
the so-called
Big
computer
balls.
experts.
his staff.
Yeah, big
He's
balls.
getting paid at the highest possible government employee rate. Brand new employees, highest possible pay rate.
No security background.
How do you
And I'm not going to go into that too much, but I don't think Elon Musk is not the type of person that should be doing this type of stuff.
Bullshit, he shouldn't be doing it.
No, what I mean is he's not an expert when it comes to accounting.
Oh, fuck you guys. He's
Well,
got
he's not.
experts. Yeah, well, you know what? He's not. You know what? He's got people who learned how to land a freaking.
You know how he's doing this?
Hold on.
Keyword searches. They don't have like a fancy algorithm set up.
And B, I'll give you an example. Okay. Hold on.
Mike.
Okay.
Mike.
If I hire somebody who's smart enough to land a rocket on Mars, does that mean that same person who's smart enough to land a rocket on Mars knows the ins and outs of the accounting of a full country?
Oh, geez. Well, our oversight committee sure as shit didn't take care
Well,
of
if that's not okay. Complaining about the old system doesn't help the new system.
To me.
What I mean is,
The oversight
NB,
committee is supposed to have
what
done this. And
what
they
you're
failed.
supposed to do, what he should have done is hire forensic accountants,
No,
not
what he did.
hackers,
Oh,
not computer code experts.
So you think you're smarter than Elon Musk?
No, we wouldn't
Oh.
think of doing any of this stuff because we
In
realize
the
we don't have those
Hold
skills.
on, no, NB, in the areas where Elon Musk is smarter than me, I will grant him those things. When it comes to telemetric engineering, I will default to Elon Musk because that's where he got his degree in. That's what he helped build for SpaceX. Was their part of their navigation system.
What you think?
But
You think counting money and following money is
he
hard?
doesn't count money.
How do you know he doesn't count money?
I can tell by the way he tried to get out of buying Twitter originally.
He didn't try to get out of buying Twitter.
Yes, he did. He tried very hard. He sued the original owners of Twitter to not have to be held to the contract that he originally signed to buy Twitter.
Yeah, look it up.
He literally sued them.
Doesn't seem overly smart to me.
Did you guys like Elon Musk and Tesla and SpaceX before he jumped on the Trump train? Yes or no?
There was a point where, yes, I did like Elon Musk when he.
Yeah, and now you hate him. And now you hate him.
Hold on.
Did you ever like Trump?
Andy, when did I start hating?
Did you ever like Trump?
Oh, Trump? No, I never liked Trump.
I found him very entertaining on The Apprentice, but when he started speaking up his personal mind in public with politics, that's when I found him to be a disgusting, racist, fucking trans asshole.
Oh
no, I've never liked Donald Trump. Hold on, Andy.
I thought he was entertaining
Andy,
on The Apprentice. I thought it was kind of funny.
Honest opinion. Hold on.
So the three of you.
Andy, hold on. Let me talk. It's my fucking show. If you want to go, what you were just talking about, yes, there was a point where I thought Elon Musk was actually intelligent, and that was when he was. Hold on, let me finish. Because I thought that private sector space technologies was something worthy of investment into. So any of the billionaires that were investing into the private sector space agency stuff, I was pro, and that includes Virgin Galactic, SpaceX. Well, what's the Bezos one?
Blue something?
Blue Sky.
Blue Sky. Or not Blue Sky.
Not Blue Sky. Blue Origin. Blue Origin.
Anyway, the one that
Hold on. No, let me finish. Let me finish.
Yeah, but I was just saying
every single one of them. I thought that was a worthwhile investment for them. But Elon tries to put him, when he started putting himself to saying, I'm the one who's coming up with all this stuff, I knew that he was full of shit even back then in 2012. And it was around 2012 when I started to realize, no, Elon Musk is an idiot who happens to have enough money to put that stuff towards it. It's like Jeff Bezos also has his own space company, but I don't think Jeff Bezos is a fucking rocket scientist.
Okay.
Elon Musk has done everything possible to convince the people around him that he's an actual rocket scientist just because he owns a rocket company.
Look at Jeff Bigelow. Look at Jeff Bigelow's aerospace.
I'm trying to say that that's like not giving J.P. Morgan credit for getting Edison's light bulbs out to the community. And
no.
Yeah, it is.
Hold on. NB, no, this is like saying J.P. Morgan is an electrical engineer because he did that.
Yes, he was an electrical engineer.
No, he wasn't.
Okay, let me finish here, please. He had enough sense to be a visionary and saw the future of the incandescent light bulb. And
okay, that does not mean that J.P. Morgan himself was. Hold on, that doesn't mean that J.P. Morgan himself was an electrical engineer.
And he put his money where his mouth was when he spent his own money
Yes, and I'm not saying he didn't.
Edison to get his house, his entire mansion.
Again, that doesn't matter. Just because I'm smart enough to invest in Walmart and buy Walmart stock does not mean I know anything about retail
Or the stock market.
or the stock market.
Congratulations! Did you send a rocket to Mars?
But again, if I'm paying for the rocket, it doesn't mean I'm smart enough to know how that rocket works.
It doesn't make you not a visionary or a titan.
I didn't say it doesn't. What I'm saying is
figuring out.
He is good at like spotting opportunities. Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's really good at taking
I'm not
advantage
gonna
of
discount that.
What did he do? What did
Doesn't mean he
do?
should be in charge of
He
your
made his oil. They burnt it down into the mixed elements. And what did he figure out? Figured out a way to use gasoline.
I agree, but even then, J.P. Morgan was not a chemical. Was not a chemist. Just because he's the one who paid for it does not mean he is that person.
No, but he figured out something for it. He was a visionary.
No, he paid people to figure out something for it. That's the difference.
Like Thomas Edison, he paid people and he other.
If I pay somebody to fix my car, it doesn't make me a mechanic.
I'm talking about, we're not talking about auto mechanics in the 20s and 30s. We are talking about cutting edge technology now that we haven't been talking about in 30 fucking years. NASA was supposed to have gone to Mars and already landed on Mars 25 fucking years ago, and
they weren't
shut down, and we sent it, and all our people
hold on. Andy, one, you are absolutely wrong about that, because NASA has said that they wanted to do a manned mission to Mars, but remember, they get their funding from the federal government, and the federal government said each year when NASA sends their proposals, the federal government says which ones they're going to actually fund and which ones they won't.
They actually don't think people can survive on Mars.
You can't blame NASA for not sending someone to Mars already, because it was the federal government and the people reelected who said no.
Because they didn't want to put the cost. In the private sector.
Which is why
isn't the government largely funding that project? Like, isn't it your tax dollars that's exploding every time one of those rockets blows up?
We've only had the Challenger and Columbia.
No, you guys are funding those SpaceX rockets.
We had a whole shitload. Mercury, come on.
A lot more rockets explode beforehand. Those are just the two shuttle accidents.
I mean,
and depending on how you look at it, the shuttle accidents were even could be reported as being really good or really bad, because you could argue on point one that 1/3 of the or 1/3 of all shuttles, exploded in one way or the other, or you could look at it as in over 100 and almost 150 shuttle missions, only 2 ended in failure, which means that less than a 1% failure rate. So you could look at it both ways. It was either a 30% failure rate or a 1% failure rate.
Well, you had one explode when it was still connected to the rocket, and you had one explode when, or implode on impact, I guess.
No, it was
it burned up in the atmosphere.
The heat shield. Yeah, the heat shield was
damaged. The heat shield. The heat shield was bad.
Did you catch that lunar eclipse?
No.
Oh, you had cloud?
I didn't show you that picture. I'm like, I got my telescope. It was partly clouded, right? I got my telescope out. I finally got a focus. All of a sudden, cloud came in. I'm like, shit. So I just took a little picture. It's like, this is what it looks like right now. I checked the satellite. I'm like, oh shit, clouds,
I got the notification that you were going live.
Sorry, Dandelion. I have had no fucking luck since we got the damn telescope. And it has been like, one time we got to see the moon pretty good. and everything's been rain, cloudy. I know, Elihu. Ain't that
sounds
the
like here.
fucking way?
However, there are 2 lunar eclipses every year, so they aren't all visible from North America, but
Yeah, this one
at
was
least
totally
you do have
visible.
lots more opportunities to get a lunar eclipse.
Hey,
Yeah, the next solar eclipse is
hold on.
Australia.
Elihu, I saw. Hold on, I want to say, Elihu, I saw that you were going live to watch it, but at that time it was raining in San Diego, and I was like, I'm not going to even stay up for this. I got to go to bed.
I
and
wanted to see the
I had-
planetary alignment, and it was like nothing but clouds. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah. I mean, I had my little setup all set to go, but I'm like, shit.
I'm sitting there.
I waited and waited.
My wife buys a telescope for Christmas. We've used it once in 4 months because it's been fucking cloudy at night. I'm like, are you fucking with me, God?
Yeah, and Saturn's rings are disappearing, so I can't even see that because of clouds.
Actually, we cleared out a bit. There was like little skiffy clouds like scooting around in the sky on Thursday. So, but I stayed up till about 11, and then I'm like, I have to be up at 5:30. I'm going to bed. So I saw part of it.
I prefer Nimbus over a lot clearer to see.
I don't know.
It was straight up clouds for here, so yeah, I there's no way I was seeing anything.
I don't even know what the hell is going on with our fucking weather here. This has been the coldest winter I've known in the Midwest in a long time. Fucking ran out of propane, had to get an emergency call out.
Go talk to Hank Hill. He's got a lot of propane.
I'll sell propane.
Yeah. Well, I will say this, because you were mentioning propane. As a late birthday and Christmas present, a friend of mine gifted me a brand new propane grill and stove.
Nice.
And literally, I open it up, and the first thing I do with it is we made mac and cheese with me and the kids. On the grill top, on the grill top, we grilled some bacon. On the stovetop, we made the pasta, which was. God, I can't stand my kids sometimes. Velveeta cheese and shells.
That's not even cheese.
I know, but that was the only thing they wanted. I at least got to add some actual cheddar cheese to it. I cut up some cubes and melted it in just to add some thickening to it. And then because I'm an asshole, I also chopped up some cauliflower, diced it real small, and I added it to the mac and cheese. Just so they'd have a vegetable to eat.
Texture. That's good texture.
I don't understand. Your kids don't like cauliflower. I must have been the oddball kid because there were only like 2 vegetables I would not eat. And actually one of them now I eat because my wife seasons it just amazing. And now I'm addicted. And that's
vegetable. Good God, you're holding us hostage to want to know what it is.
Oh, Brussels sprouts.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I love Brussels sprouts. I loved them when I was a kid when my mom just boiled mushy ones because, British. And then I love them now when I roast them with a little Worcester sauce and some slivered almonds and stuff. Such a good thing.
Yeah, that was the thing. I didn't like them when they were boiled, but my wife has a way of doing it, and she seasoned them up, and I was just like, I gave it a try. They smelled good, and I was like, you keep making them like this, I'm gonna eat this shit up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, asparagus.
Guys, it's time for a commercial break, so I'm gonna go get a refill my coffee cup.
Thank you for reminding me, Elihu. So
I got a geologian grab a beer anyway. So good time. Thanks, Elihu.
We'll have a brief break from our sponsor.
Avoid super battle droids, but not the super dealers at SD GameSwap.
I still love that one.
That's
I love all of them.
So I
Fenner
think
rocks.
Pickles is here in name only. Like, is it just so we can like watch him work? Is that point? Pickles?
Well, he's working on a big client, so and plus he can help out. He's got access to my system for StreamYard, so that's why he brought you up. I didn't bring you up.
Oh, he just assumed it really was me. All right, I gotcha. I was just about to say that it was me, but I was sort of like in the middle of trying to type something, right? And then there's like a little bit of a, because I have to go back to the actual stream to turn off the volume before I get brought up.
I miss, I gotta be honest. Being my age now with all the streaming and the ages we are, I actually miss commercial breaks because it was like that was the time to go get a drink or a bathroom call.
Dude, look at your remote control. It's called the pause button.
I've always hated commercials.
It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing.
Now, I will say this: as someone who doesn't pay for most of my streaming stuff, so I usually have the ad-supported versions. I don't mind the commercials, except when they play the same fucking commercial every freaking break.
Oh, yeah.
My ad blocker does not work on Pluto TV, and I keep on getting Spanish commercials because my last name is Hispanic. I'm like, I stop with the Spanish commercials.
Well, I don't think that's entirely it.
I agree. Pluto will do that to you. They'll be like, they play the same commercial.
It's one of the things that my ad blocker does not work on.
Because of Mrs. Vile, I blame it on her all the time that I get so many Spanish ads because, she sends me stuff on Facebook. So when I'm rolling through Facebook, I'll get Spanish ads on there now. YouTube, I get Spanish ads. And it's just kind of funny because, like, half the time I understand one or two words. And I'm like, damn it, what are they even selling?
How do you not know Spanish at this point?
I know a little. I don't know enough to. I have really trouble conjugating the verbs.
You're Irish.
She knows
How do you not know Gaelic, dude? Come on. What kind of question is that?
Yeah, but I mean, Spanish is one of the easiest languages to do. You sound everything out but the H.
Well, what I mean is, in English we conjugate our verbs temporally. In Spanish and a bunch of other Latin languages, they conjugate the verbs based on pronoun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The noun is before the adjective.
Are you talking about how
the noun is before the adjective when you speak, dude? That's the difference, basically.
I'm not talking about that. Well,
let me see.
I was trying to explain it too easy.
You guys correctly. So we're talking about like green shirt versus camiseta vota.
Well, no. It's when I'm talking about verbs,
pronunciation,
like,
dude.
When we conjugate the word ran, like run, it's I run, he ran. If it was in the past, it's I ran as well. Or if it's at the same time, or it's I'm running. Or if it's in the future, I will run. Whereas there, it's based on pronouns, so it's like whether no matter when it's going to take place, it's the same verb, but it's I ran, we ran, he ran, she ran. That's how they conjugate it. But there's a different suffix to the verb based on if it's I, he, she, we, or they.
Well, they don't use I as far as
they
do. They use.
I know they. Yeah, they do. I know in French we do.
Yeah, if it's saying I'm gonna go, it's voy. That's the singular.
No,
voy, I'm going, or I'm going to go, or I go. If it's we are going, it's vámonos.
No, no, but the way it's said is me voy. Like I would say.
No, when it's singular, you can drop the yo. So it wouldn't be yo voy, it would just be voy.
No, not yo boy, me boy.
No, it
Same
wouldn't be me boy either. They would drop the me. It would just be boy.
That's not what it's not what my friend taught me.
Well, Mrs. Vile is our expert. She could tell us in the chat.
In a more casual conversation, you could drop it.
Yeah.
Well, she was she was first generation American Mexican, so.
And Mrs. Cardenas grew up speaking Spanish.
Yeah, it's the first language, so.
Yeah, so she is the expert out here.
Actually, with Nancy, Spanish was her first language too. She learned English and Spanish about the same time. She had the benefit of that. Well, one of the things is the entire community is also based on pronouns. So the O, the A for feminine, O for masculine.
Anything in the chat yet?
I don't think she's still
She
there.
might not be listening.
Oh.
But
and then when it's a group, it's usually,
if it's anything like French, there's also like
well, it is like,
it's not like it's similar, but there is like a command verb tense in a sense where you don't put the you go, it would just be go or sit down or whatever, not assieds toi, you just be assieds, right? So there is like a situation, like it's a slightly different usage of the word. And I don't know if Spanish is exactly the same, but there is that kind of, I don't have the word for it. I don't know how to explain.
Well, one of the things.
Yeah, with some of the words in French, they have like 13 or 14 more conjugations for the verbs, and but it's only for certain words, and it's nuts.
Well,
when my wife was at the private Christian school she was at, they taught Latin, and my wife really took to Latin easy. Because if all Romance languages are rooted in Latin.
Romance languages?
Yeah, all Romance languages are
Spanish,
rooted in Latin.
Italian.
Yeah.
French.
I said French.
Oh, you did?
Portuguese.
Yeah.
Yeah, what are the Romance languages? Does anybody know all of them?
I don't know all of them. There's like French, Spanish, English.
Klingon. There's Klingon.
I don't think Klingon was on the Rosetta Stone.
Is Portuguese a Romance language as well?
Yeah.
Portuguese is considered a Romance language too.
Okay.
And so is Italian.
Yeah, I said Italian. I only know the three. I don't know if there's others.
I think Spanish.
And because of the French influence on early English, parts of English are considered a Romance language, but not fully.
What about the Netherlands? Like, if you're speaking Dutch, is
No.
that Romance or is that more Germanic?
No.
Not that I know.
It's more Germanic,
Dutch
but
is
it's also
more
its own thing.
Germanic.
All right,
Dramatic.
you know what? Let's settle this. I'll just look up the Romance languages.
We have Google.
Yeah, it's so easy to find information these days.
Yeah, unfortunately,
it's not always right, but you know.
That's why you got to do your homework.
Yeah. What search engine do you search for a search engine?
Romance languages. Oh shit, there's a lot of them. Examples of Romance relation. Example of Romance languages. Spanish, French, Italian, Portuguese, Romanian, Catalan.
Oh, of course. I forgot that one.
OCCITAN. I do not know how to say that.
Not familiar with that one.
Sicilian. Okay, that's a form of Italian. Austrian Leyden,
Holy shit.
Romash, Sangria, and Ventania. That's yeah, I've never heard of some of these countries.
Well, languages.
Yeah.
I have never heard of some of those countries.
Oh, it says what country they're from?
That was the countries right there. I'm like,
Oh, I thought that was the Romance languages, not the country.
yeah, that was the Romance languages. That was the countries.
Well, the country might have a slightly different name than the language, right? Like Italy speaks Italian, but you can't say that it's Italian is the name of the country.
No, but Italian and Sicilian are different dialects. Well, anyway, when you look at Americans, and I don't know how it is for Canadians, but you guys have big provinces. If you look at Vile Mike, LDG, and me, we all have different dialects from where we lived. LDG's Floridian, Mike's Californian, Elihu's Arizonian in California. We just, we have.
Wasn't LTG originally from New York?
Huh?
Yeah.
Pickles was originally from New York.
Okay, that's right. Oh, that's right, Pickles. You were New Yorker.
And I'm a Californian with
No. I wasn't
Texas influence.
I wasn't a New Yorker. I am a New Yorker. It doesn't become past tense.
That was why I said it, because I know that if you're a New Yorker, you're always a New Yorker.
Yeah, I'm in Florida. Basically, it just means I'm a retired New Yorker.
Yeah,
pretty much.
New York.
New Yorker.
I spent 2 days in New York. Does that make me a New Yorker too?
No.
It depends. Did you actually do anything in New York?
I spent pretty much the entire time in a hotel room.
Then no.
What about okay? How about this, LDG? How about this, LDG? What if it's pouring down rain and I spend $20 on a taxi cab to go 2 blocks, and the guy goes 7 blocks around the corner, takes me around like a stupid tourist, and I hand the guy $20. Am I a New Yorker?
Not yet, but we want you to come back if that's what you fell for.
Oh.
Hold on, I take it back.
Hey, I was born. I'm an Illinoisan. I'm Midwestern all the way.
The 2 days I spent in New York, the first day we spent at a attorney's office, then we went to the courthouse, then we went to a restaurant, and then we went to the hotel and spent the rest of the remaining time in the hotel room.
No, you're not a union.
I don't know.
I'm trying to say my spending time in DC and New York on a vacation means I am DC or New Yorker. No, just because
I was making it. It was a joke, NB.
I went to Hawaii. Am I Hawaiian?
No, I went to. It's like when people say, "What countries have you been to?" I'm like, Canada, Greece. They're like, "Didn't you stop in Ireland?" I'm like, I'm not gonna count the airport as a freaking visit.
However, I did have a friend who was stuck at the Paris airport on Christmas Day on like to catch a connecting flight, and I did tell him he should probably like chat that up a bit and say he spent Christmas in Paris.
Yeah, I would count that too.
I said, it sounds a lot fancier if you say you spent Christmas in Paris.
I will say something about because we were talking about that, and I said I had a heavy influence of Texas for Californian. An article I read recently, the family that I have in Texas is just outside of Beaumont, Texas. And this article, which was a couple of years out of date, I think it's from 2022, I believe. was that Beaumont, Texas has the lowest literacy rate in all of the United States. And when I told Mrs. Vile that, she goes, "Yeah, that tracks."
Hey, I got a question for
No,
you.
when I was
Vile
in,
Mike.
I
Sorry,
did-
hold on, Andy. Let Dandelion go.
I'm just reading your little blurb for the stream. 3 body problem?
No, we
Yeah.
were talking about that earlier. I'm watching that show.
Because I had to go take a shower because I had put hair color in, so I couldn't wait any longer. So I missed that. Damn it. Okay.
You know, one of the things, Dandelion, when I went to Canada and I'd been there twice, love to go back. I remember
They're not come with the U.S. plates right now. No, I'm kidding. Nobody's attacking U.S. cars.
I'd have to get my passport.
Just don't come in a Tesla. Actually, that's not true.
I
Nobody
can't
is attacking
afford
Teslas.
it, and I still can't afford a Tesla. I just bought a Jeep.
Why would you want to buy a
People don't
swastika
actually
car?
like the quality of the build.
Anyway, so when I was in Canada, you know, I got to see the other side of the oh shit, what's it called?
Border?
No, the falls. Niagara Falls. Sorry, I was having a brain fart there.
Okay.
You know, there's the American Falls, and then there's the Canadian one, and the Canadian ones everybody loves
Mm-hmm.
because it's the horseshoe.
Mm-hmm.
And the next time we went to Canada, we camped, and it was spring or summer, and I was in this lake, and I mean, the most crystal clear water I had ever seen.
Probably from the acid rain.
It just crystal clear. I could see right to the bottom. It was clear as day. I thought, and I was a young kid, and I thought, oh shit, can I touch the bottom? And then I stick my head down in there and realize that's about 20 feet down.
Yep, we got some pretty good lakes up here.
Oh, yes, you do.
I mean, there's murky ones too.
Yeah,
Like,
you
you're not
do.
going to find a nice clear lake in, Saskatchewan or maybe Manitoba, but Saskatchewan or Alberta, not in the prairies. You're not going to find them. They're all like murky as F. And there's lots of murky lakes in like Ontario and stuff too. But yeah, we do have lots of really nice clear lakes. Sort of depends where they are, and what kind of.
Most of the lakes out in East Texas are so murky that when we would go out fishing, you'd think, oh, this looks like a good lake for fishing. Let me go cast out. And then you realize the lake might be, 300 meters across, but it's only like half a foot deep.
Yeah, there's lots of those on the prairies
Dude,
too.
you need to go to Lake Elsinore. The first time I went there, I was going to go fishing with a friend, and we're just driving up the road, right? And like, what the hell is that smell? Like, oh, it's an old legend. When the conquistadors came over the hills, they smelled the same thing, and he asked the interpreter what this is, and he goes, "Smells like hell, senor." It's like, oh, Lake Elsinore, okay. Yeah, that lake stinks as fuck. It's like rotten sulfur and fish and eggs. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, the conquistadors, for anybody who doesn't know, that means conqueror in Spanish.
We know.
Okay, well, a lot of people don't know. I don't know what people know when they don't know.
Okay.
You know more about Canada than I do, that's for damn sure.
Well, I would expect to.
You should.
Sorry, I went to the back of the car to grab a energy drink because I'm out of coffee.
So, Dandelion, are you a dual citizen of Canada and the UK?
No, I'm a British citizen. I'm a landed immigrant in Canada. Like a permanent resident.
Yeah.
So I pretty much have all the same rights as a Canadian, except for, I mean, I suppose if I committed a horrible crime, they might deport me. If I leave for more than 6 months of the year, like total accumulated days, then I can lose my landed immigrant status and I cannot vote.
She's a Canadian citizen, but not a Canadian national.
No, I'm a
Right,
landed
right?
immigrant, permanent resident. Nope, it's a permanent resident.
Resident, not
Oh, okay.
national.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, she's a resident right now. She's not a citizen.
Yeah, I could easily take out citizenship at this point, but I really hate paperwork, so I keep putting it off. But I'll do that.
Don't bother.
I don't know how
I
immigrant.
mean, if Trump gets his way, I'll get deported when he takes over Canada.
He's not going to take over
God,
Canada.
we are never going to take Canada.
Oh, I know you're not.
I'm surprised Canada hasn't tried to take Alaska. Come on, it's right there. It's the finger.
No, we don't. Really want to do
They
that.
had
We
a trip.
respect
Well,
borders.
unfortunately,
We respect sovereignty.
well, here's the reason why the Canadians don't have Canada or don't have Alaska. They
Yeah,
sold
Russian.
it to us from the Russians because the Russians and the British Empire were not on good terms, and they sure shit were not selling it to them. So we got a gold mine, and Canada didn't declare its independence for a couple years later.
Well, Canada was going to try to take those islands away from the British. They've been arguing over it for the century now. The ones that are near the Bahamas, I can't remember what they're called.
The Virgin Islands.
I thought we
No.
were putting that off because we didn't really actually want to have to pay. Like, we didn't want to have to support anybody. We thought it was too expensive.
The Bahamas.
I know it's bounced around for a long time. As I said, at least a century.
Is it Bimini or something? I don't know. There's some island. I know what you're talking about. But yeah.
The Bahamas and the Virgin Islands are U.S. territories.
No, it's some other
said
island.
near the islands I'm talking about are near the Bahamas.
Like
I don't
Bimini
know
or
that.
something. I don't know. I can't remember exactly
Yeah,
what it was.
I don't remember the name of them either. That's why I'm just saying a general area of where they are at.
Yeah.
Sable, Nassau.
Now, I
Well, that's
honestly,
what's
even if you said the name, I wouldn't remember it.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
I'm looking at my map. I got a map on the wall. I'm looking at my
Well,
map. So.
it's like I said, Dandelion. It'll never happen that your country is going to become the 51st state. It's
Oh, yeah, absolutely
never
not.
gonna happen. Your parliamentary system, your form of government would have to so completely change to fit our republic. Honestly, I don't see it. I can't see an easy transition, even if it was agreed upon, it would take a decade at a minimum to change your whole government. And
Well,
I
you
just
could
don't
just
think
change
it's
yours.
worth it. Honestly, I don't think it's worth it.
You could just change yours.
That's not how it works when you become a state. You gotta
You guys
become
could
a
just join
republic.
Canada.
What
Yeah,
I mean,
but
what I
we-
would imagine happening, NB, is they wouldn't become a state right away. They would become a territory and be held under federal jurisdiction, similar to Puerto Rico, American Samoa, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I said that would be the best that
What a
could
nightmare.
happen.
No thanks.
Yeah,
But
it would still be a huge
not
mistake.
agree.
Yeah.
I don't see. I like I said, I don't see that. I don't.
One of the funniest. Hold on, NB. One of the funniest things recently. Mrs. Violet and I were talking about the Fallout series because she didn't know much about the history of what happens in the Fallout games.
Hey, when does
And I was trying to tell her that at one point,
you know,
due to an oil crisis, one of the things that the United States did in the Fallout universe was go to war with Canada and annex it to get at their oil reserves. And she looks at me, is like, "You're kidding, right?" I'm like, "No." And apparently, according to the Fallout universe, that happens around 2025.
Why would we go to Canada to get oil?
It's close.
We have a lot of it.
No military defense. It's closer.
Oh, now you just insulted.
I don't know, man. Don't
military.
try attacking Canada. The last time you guys tried that, we burnt down your White
Burnt
House.
wire. I know.
You had the British helping you.
Yeah, and we're still part of the British Empire.
Yeah, they don't do anything.
Commonwealth, you're not part of the empire.
Yeah, they can't do anything without the order of the king.
Commonwealth.
Yeah, because remember, the British Empire is officially over, but the Commonwealth still stands, even for the independent countries that just recognize the king as their, de facto leader.
In name only, yeah.
Yeah.
But if they want to do something like declare war, they have to have the word of the king. The Parliament can say, yes, we want to do this, but the king has to say, okay or no.
Yeah, I know the king is pretty much a figurehead, but
that's the only thing he has power to is for war.
And actually, that is a question I do have, Danny Lane. Hold on, I have a question for Danny Lane. Is the king now on your money, or is it still Queen Elizabeth?
Nope, the king.
Okay.
When there's a new monarch, that's the monarch that goes on the back of the coin.
Yeah.
I just haven't seen any recent Canadian coinage down here in Southern California. I used to get it all the time.
The queen is still on circulating money. Like, we didn't recall all the money, but any new issued money would have the king on it.
Yeah.
Are people spocking him?
I have in my wallet is probably still got the queen on it.
Are people spocking Charles?
I'm actually not sure. I think because our money is plastic, it lasts for a long time. That was the point of going to plastic.
Yeah.
Actually, the bills. Yeah, I've got 20s. The 20s have queens on them.
So the one thing I've learned from my wife, nobody likes King Charles. They would rather have
King
his
Charles.
son.
They're all figureheads anyway. It hardly matters.
Yeah.
People are personal about that. I mean, she was the queen for a long time.
Yes,
she was loved.
Well, her dad was crazy, so she kind of had to take over when she was, 20 or something?
Yeah.
No, I think she was even younger than that.
Hey, look at that. I got an American coin of some denomination.
When she was served in the military, she was princess.
Here. That's weird.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, because I watched the King's Speech, which was about
a lot of weird
father. Great movie, by the way. Absolutely great movie.
Which one?
He was a heavy
King's Speech.
Oh, that was a good movie.
Yes, it was a great movie. That was back when they gave Oscars to actually good movies.
I don't have any money with the king on it. All my money has probably been in circulation for forever. So both of our bills all have the queen on them. Only the 20 has the queen on it or the king on it. So new ones probably would, but because they're plastic, they last a lot longer than paper. And so our money tends to stay in circulation for a really long time.
Yeah, there's some Mexico also uses plastic for some of the larger denominations of their bills.
Mm-hmm.
And as someone who likes to fold their money into origami stuff, I hate the plastic stuff because it's so really hard to fold.
It really is. I mean, it does fold, and then once it's folded, you can never unfold it.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things about our money is our paper is kept very secret.
No, it's the same with the polymer that we use. It's not like you can't just find it.
Yeah.
Denominations are always made in proprietary combinations to make them
Well, the only bill they haven't changed. I mean, we have in circulation 1s, 2s, 5s, 10s.
You guys have 2s? Oh, right.
Yeah.
You said
Yes, we have 2s.
Yes, we
I
have
never. I
2s.
thought you'd have, when I'd have American money, I'd have like a gazillion 1s. Because
No, we have 2s, and yeah, I'll show you one.
our 1s
Okay,
and 2s.
but there's the thing. Hold on, Daniel. Our $2 bill is only printed like once every 4 years. It's not something that's printed every year.
Right. Well, our 1s and 2s are in coins, so.
But yeah.
Our smallest denomination is in bills is a 5.
We have dollar
All right.
coins.
So since we're talking about this, and it was something that
Yeah,
is
we
slightly
have
political,
dollar
but I want to keep it as unpolitical as possible. What do you guys feel about getting rid of the penny? And let's try to keep it as apolitical as possible.
We got rid of our penny, and it's irrelevant. We didn't notice it.
Well, the U.S. Mint hasn't printed a penny since 2019, so I don't care about it.
Oh, so you just
I like using it because I usually drop them in the penny tray. That way I never feel bad when I have to grab one. So that's just me. I'm all for keeping the penny.
Well, they said that.
Denomination.
Hold on. They said that one of the reasons they want to get rid of it is because it costs about 5 times as much for the penny as it costs, that it's face value. So for every penny that the United States government makes, it costs the government 5 cents.
Aren't nickels and dimes even more expensive?
That's
It costs about 5.5 cents to make a penny. It costs about 6 cents to make a nickel. It costs about 7 cents to make a dime.
Hold on. Elihu, you're wrong about that. One, it costs about 15 cents to make a nickel.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it costs about 6.
And it costs about 7.5 cents to make a dime. It takes about 12 cents to make a quarter. And it's about 17 cents to make a 50-cent piece or a dollar.
It's not really how much it costs to make, but I mean the value of it is the value of it. If people use them, then it's useful. If people don't use it, then it's not useful.
Well, I said back when they were talking about putting, I think it was Harriet Tubman on the $20 bill. I think that was who they were thinking about putting on it. And it, for some reason, was a controversial thing. And I got asked the question, I said, and my answer was, will it still spend like a $20 bill? Then you can put Mickey Mouse on it for all I care.
If the U.S. stops making pennies, that'd actually be beneficial because we don't have to worry about paying for imports for the metals to make it.
Yeah, it would just be interesting how it would do the roundup.
I would imagine we would do it exactly the same way other countries have.
I don't know how other countries do it.
Most of them were on the business side. They would just put the prices in such a way where there wouldn't be any need to round up. Because the last thing that a business wants to do is lose 0.5 cent on each sale just because of a rounding error. And I'll explain this. Hold on. I will explain this in the way I tried to explain it to someone who was complaining to me about the magazines at Walmart. Because they were like, okay, someone asked me at Walmart, we're like, what do you guys do with the old magazines? And I told them they're literally just thrown in the trash. And she was like, well, why do you guys do that? And I'm like, because it's cheaper. I was like, well, it can't cost the store that much money to recycle versus throwing them in the trash. And I said, no, it doesn't. It only costs the store maybe $200 a week to recycle versus throw it in the trash. But you're not thinking like a corporation. Walmart has 10,000 stores. So if you add up 200 times 10,000, it suddenly becomes several $1 million that they're saving by throwing it in the trash rather than recycling it. Same thing when it comes to this 0.5 cent they might lose on a sale. Yeah, 0.5 cent isn't very much, but when you have millions of transactions each day, that would equate to millions of dollars of revenue lost. So
Think
it's
of the
within the
movie.
stores.
Think of the movie Brewster's Millions. Okay, that half cent. Look how much money he made out that first check.
I was thinking more of Superman or 3 and.
Well, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Sorry, Richard Pryor, the computer thing. Sorry, the penny half cent. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Sorry.
And oh god, there were a couple.
So yeah, it would behoove all small businesses to change their pricing to be rounder numbers so that wouldn't happen.
Yeah, no more.
Hey, real quick, guys.
38 cents.
I got to bounce, guys. Thanks for having me. Always a pleasure. Danny Lion, Geek, Who, Vile, everybody. Love you guys. See you next week.
Bye, Pickles.
See you,
Later.
Later,
Later,
word.
folks.
Later, word, Florida man.
Not that he was here much, really.
Yeah. No, I
But
remember.
it's always nice to
hold
just
on,
stare at his computer.
But to continue it, if we get rid of the penny, I would say might as well get rid of the nickel too. In fact, get rid of the dime, and then all prices now end in a 25.
I don't know if I'm comfortable with that.
Well, it would mean that almost everything in existence would go up in price, probably 7 cents on average. But
Yeah,
it would save the federal government. If you're talking about saving money, it would save the federal government probably about $100 billion a year.
Here in Canada, it only rounds if you pay in like with cash. If you pay with your plastic, right? If you put it on your, do you guys use debit cards? Yeah, you can pay at the cash register with your card from your out of your bank account. I never know what you guys have down there. Your banking is weird. If you use your debit or your credit card, it doesn't round at all. It only rounds if you pay cash.
What happens here is a lot of times you'll go to a fucking store and they want you to round up to donate.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah,
I don't like
that fucking too.
Yeah, would you like to donate to help feed a starving family? Well, you got plenty of food in this grocery store. Why don't you donate some of that?
Well, the reason I don't like it is because they're taking a small amount from each individual person's pocket in order to get a tax cut or a tax.
I know. I'd rather get that tax credit myself.
Yeah, sorry, tax credit. Thank you. I couldn't remember the word.
It's okay. I always forget words for shit too.
And it's just like, no, I'm not going to let a company like Walmart or Taco Bell or McDonald's get that, fraction of a tax credit.
Yep.
When they're already massive corporations.
The simple fact is,
that's why I go to Panda Express. I always say cash, no bag, no tip, because the tip is the donation.
Hey, here's the thing. When I give a donation or charity, I take the Major Winchester position for MASH. I don't talk about it. I don't advertise it. I don't tell the person who I am. I just give the money directly to them. Because that is charity. I'm not going to...
I do take the tax credit, though.
I don't. I never do. I donate to Goodwill all the time.
Oh, I hate Goodwill.
And they're like...
Well, Goodwill isn't one you get a tax credit for because they're a for-profit charity.
Yeah.
No, actually, you can get a tax write-off from them. Because they kept asking me and I kept saying no. Because
in your area, maybe they aren't for-profit. In California, they are a for-profit business.
I'm telling you, any Goodwill I've gone to has never not asked me for if I wanted that.
There could be different regulations in different states, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll give you a receipt for what you got, but that's not tax deductible.
No, I was told, do I want a receipt? I said, no. The civil fact is, I didn't.
Now, technically, because it's a church, Salvation Army, you do get a tax deduction if you donate to them, but I don't tend to donate to Salvation Army because I don't like them as a charity.
I actually worked for Salvation Army.
Yeah,
Well,
but
they did more for me
when I
than
was
FEMA did.
virtually homeless, I was told, "Oh, go to here and they'll give you some food." And I was like, "Okay." And then they made you sit through a 2-hour sermon where they told you you're going to hell for 2 hours unless you convert to whatever religion they are. And I'm like, "This is not worth the ham sandwich that they gave me." And it was literally a piece of bologna on white bread, no mayo, no cheese, no nothing. And I'm like, that was not worth 2 hours of my life. I'm sorry.
Sounds
Well,
like
the Salvation
No
Army did
mayo,
more for
not
me than what FEMA did after Katrina, because all my neighbors kept getting a runaround, and we heard word that Salvation Army was in the area, so we took a boat and just hopped all over there, and within 12 hours, we were out of the city. I'm like, what? And we had cash in our hands. Like, what? Thank you.
nice.
Yeah, Katrina, boy, that was when us in America, we were like, fuck these donation places.
All they asked us is, where do you want to go? And people going, New York, Florida, New York, Alabama. Okay, here you go. Like,
one of the only
California.
charities I like to donate to is Doctors Without Borders, because everything I hear about them is good stuff.
I also donate to the food bank.
Okay.
I do donate to the smaller food banks in my area, Santee, El Cajon, but I don't do the San Diego Food Bank because they get enough funding from the state.
Yeah.
But the smaller ones get less funding, so that's why I try to help out the smaller ones.
Our food banks aren't, I don't think ours are necessarily government run here. They're usually like donations only, but I like to donate cash to them. I usually do it like once a year, just like around Christmas, just not because it's Christmas, but just at that time of year.
Yeah, with the funding cut to the food banks, they're not going to be able to buy food for people, because some of that money that they get, they actually use it to purchase food to give away to people.
Yeah, I usually donate cash to the food bank.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, 7 years in California, but the years I was in Tampa, Florida, and I'd see these people, the panhandlers, and they're out and they're begging for money on the street. And I'm like, how can you afford? I'm like, how are you making your case you're hungry when you're smoking a cigarette?
I don't know. I'm
Hold
not.
on. Emmy, what if they're like me? Hold on. Because I've actually had this conversation with a certain person. I'm not going to say who. Because I smoke, I smoke my cigars. The most I smoke is during this live stream. But I go through about 2 cartons a month. And my cartons cost me about $20 a carton, even in the state of California.
Yeah,
now,
the thing is, if you're
hold on. They smoke 2 packs a day, meaning that they're going through over a carton a week, and the cartons they smoke are like right now $80 a piece. So they're spending almost $300 a month in their cigarettes, whereas I'm smoking, my cost for my vice is $40 a month. So the difference for when it comes to smoking can be greatly different for different people depending on what they're smoking.
And you can buy rolled up tobacco, which costs about $2 a pouch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, if you just buy tobacco and a roller and some paper.
You don't need a roller. Why do you need a roller? Just get paper, $1 paper, $2 cigarettes, that's $3.
I'm the same.
I
can't handle to save my
can't
life.
roll a joint without it being pregnant.
Yeah, I know. I can't roll it. I can't roll to save my life either. Well, I can roll one to save my life, but yeah, it's a dirty looking joint when I roll one.
I will say this. I once had a roommate years ago that bought a machine where he would like dump a bag of tobacco into the top, and it would roll his cigarettes for him with the filters already attached. And he just put it in the machine. The machine cost him like $400, but he's like, in the long run, I'm going to save so much money. And then I laughed when after like the second bag he put in there, the machine broke.
Yeah.
Well,
And,
that only cost $50 and it lasted for a long time.
but as far as like, I mean, cigarette smoking is pretty like, I mean, it's not like
I thought that
like,
was
people
what
get
was
hooked
going
on
to
it,
kill
right?
my
Like it's
dad.
very addictive. So I'm not going to gatekeep somebody's like minor choices for stuff like that. Like if that's the only pleasure some person living in a tent has, I'm not going to like question them also needing food, right? Like if I'm
Yeah.
going to donate to money to somebody on the street, which I occasionally will give them a 20 or whatever, right? They catch me when I'm in a good mood or whatever. I'm just like, sure, whatever. Here you go. I'm not going to like gatekeep their every choice. Like it's my
And then-
choice to either give them money or not. Whatever they want to do with it, that's on them.
Well, I had this one guy. I was going on a subway with, I think, my son, and there was this man. He was homeless. It's hot as hell, and he's sleeping on the concrete. So I know he's in a bad position, and I just tap him and I say, hey, get yourself something to eat. And I hand him a
I will say
20.
this. Hold on. I will tell
Can
a
I
story.
finish real quick?
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Finish real quick. But I want to tell the story before I end the stream.
Yeah, I just gave him the money, didn't mention my name, anything. I was like, get some food. Now, I don't know what he did with the money afterwards. I had one person who asked me for money once, and he said, I'm not gonna lie to you, I want to get a beer, but I can't afford it. He's like, can you help me? I'm like, yeah, I'm here to get a beer at the liquor store anyway. I'm like, thank you for being honest with me. You know, he didn't bullshit me or anything. I'm like, yeah, I'll get you a beer.
Well, the story I was going to tell, outside one of my stores, every time I'm there, there's one specific homeless vet who is always begging for money. Now, he doesn't put on his sign or anything, but his vice of choice is crack. I know this because I talk to him when it rains, and he's underneath the few awnings. And he was literally lighting up crack. And I'm like, why are you spending the money you're getting from that instead of going to the Dollar Tree right there and getting food? And he goes and looks at me and goes, okay, I want you to understand something. I could go ahead and try to spend the $40 I got today on a blanket and some food. And that might make me forget about the cold for a night, because a blanket's not going to last me that long out here. And the food might fill my belly for a single day. But this amount of crack will let me forget about every one of my pains, every one of my sufferings for the next week.
Yeah, it's like a bigger problem than just, do you have like this money now? Like, yeah, they're still perfectly capable of making their own decisions, what I think.
But his reasoning was kind of sound. It was kind of like, when he's stoned, he doesn't give a shit about how much his stomach hurts because he hasn't had any food. When he's stoned, he doesn't care about how cold it is.
Yeah, there is something to that. Mike, there is something to that logic. I mean, it's a vice. I mean, I haven't had weed in 6 months, but trust me, my health has gotten better. And with my dad died, yeah, I'm due for some weed big time. I want to get lit because I don't want to get drunk.
But, so even though a lot of times when I hear, like, oh, they're just going to, you give this money and they're just going to spend it on drugs. Yeah, I kind of understand why they're doing that, though.
Yep.
Because I've actually talked to them. A lot of the people that are against these, the homeless people getting drugs is because all they do is they see it as a waste of their money. And it's because they're in a situation where they'd rather forget their problems than
They
anything
don't
else.
understand. Us civvies don't understand the mindset.
Especially when you're more rich than that. It's like, oh well, you shouldn't be spending your money on that. You should be spending it on food or housing. And it's like, well, I'd rather have this for a week than a home for a day.
Yeah, there is logic behind that, and I would not disagree with. Look,
And I also have to add, if you're homeless, trying to find something to eat that's hot, that's hot and warm you up. Like the cheapest value meal at a fast food like McDonald's, Jack in the Box is $11 to $12.
well, for us, we'll eat the food. No, for
Hold
us
on.
military, we'll eat the food fucking cold.
Elihu, I was gonna piss at the Jack in the Box app yesterday because they have the $6 deal, the $6 meal deal thing.
Yeah.
But you can only get it through the app. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and try to get it through the app. It also means that you have to pay for it you have to have like a debit card or a credit card or something. You can't have cash.
Yeah, I got my card connected.
And then, so I go to the Jack in the Box near my house, and it literally is blanked out on the app saying it's not currently available at this location.
Ugh.
Yeah, I've had that done before with the tacos. They
I'm
were
like,
running
what
a short on
the
tacos.
hell?
There's no 99-cent tacos available. There was no $1.99 tacos available. Like, there's no tacos available. I'm like, what the fuck?
And it's not it's not like any of those individual stuff is. It's because they don't that specific store doesn't want to sell that stuff that cheap right now.
Oh,
and it's fucking ridiculous. And I'm seeing it all over the place now, especially on the Jack in the Box app ever since they updated it. And I'm just, at this point, I'm almost like, I'm not going to be going to Jack in the Box.
Well, how about this for pissing up, getting more upset about Jack in the Box? Since they updated the app, they're now charging 10 to 25 cents for extra pickles, tomatoes, extra lettuce. I'm like, this used to be free.
Yeah, it depends on the store, which, because those are franchises, I can kind of understand. But still, pickles should not be an extra charge. Extra mayo and extra ketchup should not be an extra 15 cents onto my freaking burger.
Exactly.
Lettuce should not be there. Tomatoes, I'll forgive. Tomatoes can be expensive, especially when there's a salmonella outbreak. But lettuce and pickles, no. Don't charge for extra that.
I like extra pickles on my jumbo jack.
Haven't you been getting egg surcharges at places? Like they charge extra for the eggs?
Trader Joe's is still $5, but it's one per customer per day.
Oh, did I tell you guys? I gave my wife and daughter permission to get chickens, and they came back with 5.
Nice.
Yeah, little chicks hatch, right? Yeah, little chickies.
Yeah, they're all freshly hatched. We don't even know which are chicks and which are roosters.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
I'm chicken sitting for the landlord, like the guy that just bought the place. He's tossed some chickens in because then he keeps the farm status of the property, which keeps the taxes lower, the property taxes lower. Oh my god. So I come home from work one day and he's like, "Oh, can I just talk to you for a minute? I have to go to Mexico for a week on holiday." I don't know. He was in Mexico a week ago, so I don't know what's going on with that dude. But anyway, so he go into the storage shed, which is sort of like a little room attached to the house. There's a fucking Rubbermaid full of chicks, like baby chicks in there, like as well as like there's like 8 roosters in one place, and then there's like a whole yard full of chickens. Their wings aren't even clipped, so they keep escaping into like the rest of the farm. And I have to keep like rounding them up and getting them back in the pen. And so now I'm also like babysitting these little baby chicks, which are super cute, but holy crap, like I need that much more stuff to do. Like if you want me to open the door to they have like a little house that they roost in at night. If you want me to open the door in the morning and close it, at sundown at night, no problem. I can do that. But now I'm like having to keep an eye on feeding them, making sure their water's good.
Yeah, we had to do that.
Part-time job. So
we did that this morning. We went out and checked on them.
And he's got the heat lamp jury rigged on this like rickety piece of
the heat
lamp. Fell into the Rubbermaid the other night. Like I go in the morning and the chicks are all like perched around the heat lamp that's in the wood shavings. And I'm like, oh my God, thank God he didn't set the fucking place on fire.
Nah,
Anyway,
they're good.
well,
They're good. They're happy.
No,
no,
my
it seems to be
But
good.
my grandfather.
we
No,
did.
my grandfather would be laughing at all the people who are trying to get chickens for eggs right now
Uh-huh.
because when I was a kid and he rebuilt the chicken coop and they only had like 24 birds, so not a large amount.
Yep.
But even back then, and we're talking like 20 or 2000 ish era, so long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, yeah, that new chicken coop cost me $100,000.
I already have a chicken coop.
Well, and it's hard to actually get chickens right now. Like this guy, like bought them off somebody who was like looking to just reduce the size of their backyard flock, which is why we've got 8 roosters back there, which apparently are all destined for the stew pot, except for like a couple of them.
Well,
only 1% of San Franciscans can have chickens because we live in condos and apartments here. We had no place to actually
it's
keep
just
them.
practical. I mean, obviously, I
Yeah,
live
know.
on a rural property, so.
Yeah, one of the things my daughters ran into, she goes to her girlfriend's house, and they had 11 chickens, and they lost 6 because they got an open field, and a fucking fox has been getting them, so they've lost 6. So once these chicks are grown up and they can go out in the field, I have dogs that'll protect them.
If they don't eat them.
Nah, they won't do that. My Australian Shepherd and my
good.
Bernese Mountain Dog, they know the lay of the land. They run like the same. They run the perimeter.
They know what not to eat.
Yes. And I tell you what, my little girl, Maxine, she's gotten 2 moles this year. And she's always so happy when she gets a mole. She got one last year. I think it was her 3rd. So I think that's 5 now. And she had one and she was like, it was in her mouth. And, you know, she tried and she was holding it. And it's like, mine.
I could not have trusted my dog. She would have just eaten every chicken she could get her teeth on.
Well, the best way to train a yard dog is to put another bird in with the chickens, like another odd bird, and if the dog doesn't react, you got a well-trained dog.
Oh, my dogs do well with the cat. They'll be fine.
No, I mean, you put another bird in with the chicken because the dog recognizes a bird, no food. It doesn't react.
We're almost running out of time here, so I got to go. So, in honor of St. Patrick's Day, I figure we might as well do the drinking song. Any disagreements there?
Yeah.
Your stream, my friend.
All right, let's go.
More singing, more voices.
Hail the Klingons, hoorah! Ejem tave deja I, ejam sotas gos vaskrar baitik, en pajaj la mojaj push, jaj keles molo nichok chu.
All right, you're 19 years old now. I figure it's about time you got one after all your complaining.
Buy something at SD GameSwap, or I'm going to put all of you in a cargo container and transport you to the Borg.
All right. I will see you guys later this week. I have a lot of work to do this week, so we'll see how much I can get done.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Later, folks.
Catch me on the Daredevil Roundtable tonight, Biggerford Entertainment, 9 p.m. Eastern.
Ooh, right.
All right, later.
Later.